What's up, guys? Today we're breaking down how to play Nocturne in Wild Rift, and why this jungler is an absolute menace. With so many must-bans in the current meta, Nocturne keeps slipping through, making him a free-low pick for junglers right now. For early game Nocturne, your top priority is full clearing until level 5, because that's when you finally unlock your ultimate. Thanks to his passive, which gives him powered autos and sustain, plus the AD buff from his Q, Nocturne shreds the jungle camp fast. Your main game plan is to power farm and hit level 5 as quick as possible. A huge tip for his clear: always drop your Q and fight inside the shadow trail. It gives you a massive AD steroid, letting you melt camps with huge early damage. Instead of forcing bad ganks early, your best bet is to power farm, get your items, and hit that level advantage. The second you hit level 5, turn off their screens with your ultimate and secure a guaranteed kill. His W skill, Shroud of Darkness, isn't just a spell shield to block enemy abilities. If you successfully block something, you get a massive attack speed steroid. So make sure to use it during camps and fights. As you can see, trying to gank without your ultimate on Nocturne is pretty much a coin flip. Without that darkness, pulling off a successful gank is super tough. Since Nocturne doesn't have any other long-range dashes or mobility besides his ult, trying to walk up and force a gank is just way too hard. Did you see that? Did you see how broken Nocturne's ult is? All you gotta do is hit R, lock onto a target, and Nocturne just flies right at them for a free, brain-dead gank. As a rule of thumb, you always want to use your ult to dive the enemy's squishies, like their ADC or mid lane mage. Cutting off their vision completely panics the enemy team and turns team fights into an absolute chaos in your favor. Once you hit level 5, check the map, look for a free kill, and fly straight to them. With his insane gank pressure, it's the easiest way to secure early kills and snowball the game. Right after you crash in with your ult, immediately drop your E skill to chain the fear and lock them down. If they try to fight back, block their key ability with your W, and then just melt them with basic attacks. That's your bread and butter combo. But listen, pay close attention to this. Nocturne's level 1 ultimate range is actually way shorter than you think. Don't get baited into thinking you can reach them, or you'll just waste your R. Always double check the mini-map for the exact range before you commit. Keep in mind, if the enemy has stasis or crown to nullify your dive, you gotta respect it. Either pick a different target, or bait out those defensive items first before you press R. Alright then, let's go over the standard skill explanations. First up, his passive, Umbra blades. Every few seconds, his next basic attack gets empowered to cleave all surrounding enemies, dealing physical damage while healing himself in the process. Plus, every time you land a basic attack, it slices down the cooldown of his passive. That's why you can keep churning it out during camps. Because it hits multiple jungle monsters at once, his early camp clears are insanely fast. Plus, the more targets you cleave, the more HP you drain back, making it a massive sustain tool in team fights and skirmishes when the enemy team groups up. Next up, skill Q, Duskbringer. He fires a shadow blade that leaves a dusk trail on the ground. Any enemy champion hit will also leak the trail as they move. While Nocturne is standing on the trail, he gets a huge bonus to attack damage and moves at lightning speed. Plus, he gains ghosting, meaning he ignores unit collision. This is literally Nocturne's lifeline. If you miss this skill, chasing down targets or escaping becomes 10 times harder. Even when you're clearing jungle camps, always make sure to land it on the monsters to grab that AD buff before you start trading blows. Next, skill W, Shroud of Darkness. Passive-wise, it gives you permanent attack speed boost just by having it. But the real magic is the active. For 1.5 seconds, you deploy a spell shield that completely nullifies one enemy ability. And here's the best part. If you successfully block an enemy skill with your shield, your passive attack speed bonus doubles for a few seconds. It totally turns the tides of a fight. You gotta time it right against heavy CC like stands or roots, or massive burst spells. Because when you pull off that block, your attack speed goes completely nuts, and your 1v1 potential skyrockets. Don't panic mash the button. Stay calm, watch their animations, and react. Next up, Skill E, Unspeakable Horror. Passively, when you're moving toward a feared enemy, your movement speed gets a massive boost. As for the active, you tether yourself to target champion with a shadow string, dealing damage over time. If you stick to them long enough without breaking the tether, they get feared, running away in pure panic and losing control. While the tether is active, you gotta stick to your target like glue. If they manage to outrun the range before the timer hits, the string snaps and the fear is wasted. Use the bonus movement speed from your Q's trail to stick to them like glue and guarantee the fear goes off. The secret trick is to predict which way they'll flash or dash and path ahead of them so you never lose the tether. And finally, his ultimate, Paranoia. First cast, he plunges the entire map into absolute darkness, blinding all enemy champions and cutting off their vision sharing. Second cast, you target an enemy within range and launch yourself at them at insane speed, dealing massive physical damage. Even just the first cast completely breaks enemy communication and coordination. Here's the key. In Wild Rift, this is easily one of the strongest global engage tools in the game. You completely ignore their front line and dive straight onto the enemy backline carries, the ADC or mages, in the blink of an eye. When you press R, your main priority should always be the enemy carries, like the ADC or mages. These squishy targets deal all the damage, so shutting them down first is the absolute key to winning team fights. In the middle of a team fight, hunt down the high-value carries who will melt your team if left unchecked. Use the darkness to panic them, isolate their positioning, and assassinate them in the blink of an eye. For early ganks, you gotta pick your targets carefully and only go for kills you know you can secure. Target the squishies, and you can just burst them down in a split second with your full combo. In the late game, the enemy ADC is the primary damage dealer. If you take them out early in a fight, the enemy team's overall DPS drops off a cliff, making it so much easier to win team fights. Because ADCs build purely for damage instead of tankiness, they are total glass cannons. That's why you can just ULT in with Paranoia, drop your full combo, and literally melt them in a second. In the late game, when the enemy team is grouping up and it's hard to find isolated targets, Nocturne's gameplay shifts entirely to patience and target selection. You gotta resist the urge to go in early, wait for the enemy to blow their key CC spells, and then drop the darkness to clean up the backline. Never, ever dive in right at the start of a team fight. You gotta wait in the shadows, flank from the side, until your tanks go in, the enemy team blows all their hard CC, and the chaos unfolds. Only then do you pull the trigger. If the enemy team is tightly stacked, forcing a dive straight into 5 people is a one-way ticket to getting instantly gray-screened. Your best bet is to look for positional mistakes. Wait for a slightly isolated target, or an overextended carry who drops their guard, and punish them. In the late game, Guardian Angel GA is an absolute must-have. Having that safety net means you can play way more aggressively and go in for high-value picks without fearing death. Also, don't forget to adapt your build with defensive items like Mauve Malmortius when the situation calls for it to skyrocket your survival rate. Stop playing suicide bait and start coordinating with your team to split the enemy up. If they're deathballing as 5, don't force a bad fight. Instead, apply heavy pressure on the opposite side of the map to crack their formation and force them to split. For this build, we're going full-lethality. The entire goal is pure one-shot potential. You ULT in, drop your full combo, and utterly vaporize the enemy carry before they even have a chance to react. For boots, we go Lucidity boots for that essential movement speed and ability haste. Your first core item is Duskblade, the ultimate lethality spike to maximize your burst. Depending on the enemy comp, flex into Serpent's Fang if they have annoying shields, or the Collector if you want to guarantee those one-shot executes. Cyrilda's Grudge gives you crucial armor penetration, and is slow to stick to escaping targets. Round it out with Axiom Arc, or another situational item, for extra damage and ULT spam. And finish with Guardian Angel as your late-game safety net, so you can dive without fear. So, that wraps up our guide on Nocturne. If you're struggling to pull off successful ganks with Lee Sin or Xian Zhao, or you just never know when to pull the trigger, do yourself a favor and give Nocturne a try. Trust me, he'll change your jungle game completely. Nocturne is honestly brain-dead easy. Just press R to dive straight onto targets. Whenever your ULT is up, look for squishies or low HP enemies flying, and start stacking up those free kills. If you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss any future guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.